Good morning. This is Richard Meyer with Pockets of Specialized Knowledge. My website is www.pofsk.com. And today we're going to be talking about my projections for Florida real estate in 2024. And we're not even talking about the disaster that's happening in condos. We're going to take a real life look from the eyes of those that make their living from real estate sales. No, not agents. Real estate investors, they make a living off the purchase and sale of real property. And here's some scary numbers. The number of foreclosure filings during the third quarter, because we got to look backwards to see a lot of these things because it takes time to catch up. Number of foreclosure filings in the third quarter in Florida is higher. There's more LPs being filed. Why is this? Because there's more people that are falling behind and becoming delinquent with their first mortgages. The banks are trying to keep people in their houses, but there just turns out right now the number is growing. So they have to put the pressure on the borrower by filing a foreclosure. So the number of filings is going up. And here's an interesting number. The number of foreclosures purchased by foreclosure investors. Generally in each county, maybe up to 5 sales a week. 5 sale dates, that means. And there could be anywhere from 35 to 2 sales happening during those days. But my point is here that foreclosure investors are the people that keep the foreclosure economy running. They help the bank get rid of properties that they don't want to take back for whatever the reason. And the number of foreclosures purchased by investors that are educated, ready, willing, and able to buy these foreclosed properties is way down. And why do we suppose that is? The reason it is because foreclosure investors can't get a deal anymore. They have their eye on the tomorrow and the day after tomorrow with regard to what they can sell their house for, and they don't see anything good. The numbers are going down. So foreclosures being purchased by professional investors are going down every month. Here's an interesting number. The number of plaintiffs' final judgments that are discounted. So I'll give you an example. Property is worth $300,000. To keep things simple, the bank is going to say that their final judgment is $300,000. They have a judgment that's equal to the amount of the property. If they bring their property to sale for $300,000, no one's going to buy it because it's only worth $300,000. Sometimes the banks don't care and they'll take it back and take the loss, collect the insurance, and everybody goes on their way. But sometimes the banks realize that they have to get rid of some of these things because they don't need the inventory. So they'll do what's called they'll discount their final judgment. So let's say the house is worth $300,000. The final judgment is $300,000. But the bank, in their ultimate wisdom, sits down and says, you know what? Let's put this thing up for sale at $220,000. Now that's not the number they're going to sell it for, but that's the number that they're going to start it at in hopes to prime the pump, in hopes to get some investors to buy it. And it's completely feasible. If it's worth $300,000 and they open at $220,000, it's going to get sold. It's going to get sold for something maybe $260,000, $255,000, depending upon how educated the investors are and how desperate they are for property. I'm going to suggest that right now they're not that desperate for property. That's number one. Number two, the banks want somebody to take these properties off their hands. So if they're bringing a property to sale at $220,000 when their final judgment was $300,000. Do you think that bank might have entertained a short sale? You're damn right they would have. So because the number of final judgment discounts have gone up, particularly in the big counties like Miami-Dade and Broward, banks are begging for short sales to come true in those two counties. So you guys that do short sales in Miami-Dade and Broward, get your boots on, babe. You're going to make some money this coming year. So here's what I thought was a very interesting number. Investors buy properties to sell them and make a profit. And the faster you can sell something, the more of a profit you're going to realize, because you either have the value of opportunity cost for the money, or you have interest that you're paying. But this number here represents, now get this, represents how many properties investors bought at the foreclosure sale from August 2023 to November 23, and how many they sold that they bought. I don't have the number right here, but I think it's close to 107 is the number of properties that were purchased by foreclosure investors from August to November 2023, and only one has sold. Now, what does that tell you? To me, it tells me that we're screeching to a halt. And I'm going to combine all those facts with my most recent sale. I purchased it for $101,500 in a foreclosure sale at Brevard County in 2020. I sold it for $265 in December of 23. Yeah, I know, good for me. But the more important part of the story is the fact that we listed the property for $299 when we had a value of $310. I sat down with some very smart people in the market in Brevard. We came up with the fact that my house was worth $310. Let's put it up for sale for $299 because I do not like to play games. Within the first week, I had two offers at $245. And it was interesting. It was low, obviously very low, and I countered both. And after we countered and they didn't reply, we contacted the $245 offers and asked them both, why did you come in so low? And why didn't you come up a little higher? And they both said, because of interest rates, this is all we could afford. So even though they wanted to pay more, they couldn't borrow anymore because the interest rates were too high. So ultimately, we ended up reducing the price from $295 and then from $285 to $275. And at $275, we got an offer from my buyer. And when they submitted the offer, they said to my agent, this is the best we can do. This is as high as I can go based on the interest rate that's affecting my ability to buy a house. So as you can see, I sold over $265. I sold it to him because I heard the same argument from that buyer. And that buyer had no way of knowing how much effect that argument had on me with my offers from $245. Now, I never was going to take the $245, but what they said sunk in. So what I'm saying to you is that interest rates are going to affect buyers. They're going to have to come down on their prices, and there's nothing you can do about it. The best you can do is reduce the price on your house. And that brings me to my final slide. Here we go. Most counties in Florida will see their values tank in 2024. Bring on the short sales, baby. I'm ready. I hope you're ready. In any event, this is Rich Meyer, Pockets of Specialized Knowledge. That's my website. Go there for more information. Oh, yeah, do me a favor. Subscribe to my channel. I'd really like to try and build this thing up, so I would appreciate it very much. If you have any questions, comments, send them to me. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.